Right, back at the Wealden Hall house, and Hall house is behind me there. I don't know if you can see it, with an adjoining oast. Dan's on his first hole. Uh, that's the hayfield. 3 videos ago, where I found that cut half from the 1200s. I haven't got permission for that currently. Had one foray in that field, and yeah, we're just going to see what we can find. As I say, Dan's on his first hole at the moment. I did say that in the last video, when I was reciting my ancestor who lived in this parish and died in 1601, he had 10 kine, but a kine was plural for cow, and a singular cow was a ku. So ku, ku. Spelling was arbitrary before about 1750, so all these things are done by phonetics or sound. You can forget spelling, but basically, if you the majority of spelling for that is ku, ku. So singular ku for cow and kine for cows. See the sheep? Sheep are wandering around, wondering what's going on. The 1841 map shows hops in that very distant field over there, or at least an orchard. I'd like to go in there, but it's outside again the confines of our permission today. Right, going to get on and see what we can find. Right, there's Dan over by the fence there. In that field I found a cut half from the 1200s. At that time there was a whole town down the road from here on the coast that got washed away, and the scenery would have looked very different with the sea coming around here as a great open mouth of an estuary, and then after the 1200s it slowly receded. So whoever dropped that silver halfpenny, or cut half I should say, it's not a halfpenny, it didn't have halfpennies in Henry III's time, but he would have seen a very different scene in this locality. Anyway, first signal is turn the Bluetooth off. Very faint, lowly 13 or 14, showing us quite deep on the scale. Scale being minus 10 to 40 on the Vanquish. Yeah, something quite deep, 13 or 14. Right, funny enough, we've got the clod there. We've got this small piece that's broken off in the hole, and it appears to be just down where that small piece is. So 13 or 14. Unless that's a separate target, of course. Let's hope not. Could be something teeny weeny. I've heard it. What have we got? Button, I suspect. Yep, another button. Alright, it's a fairly plain button. But yeah, either Victorian or Georgian. Button. Alright, on to the next. Quite easy to replace the plugs when the pasture's damp like this. Nice ground to dig too. We just pat it in, return it to how it was. Good, and on we go. Right, the next signal of the day. We got here 1920. Again, max depth. Right, quite a deep hole there. It's showing 21, so it's probably going to be something larger than a coin, but we shall see. I'd forgotten my glove for a minute. Yeah, I can sense it's something larger than a coin anyway. Talking about down at a foot. A single coin at that depth would only be picked up if it was lying flat with this detector, possibly. Certainly not if it was on edge anyway. Right, let's see if we're any closer to the mark. Right. Hunt the needle. Hunt the needle. Get the old detector over it. Let's put the iron on. Because it may be iron. Only a small amount of iron signal. I'll come back on this one. That was worth poking around for, because possibly have a coin here. I don't know. Might be a button. But that was at some depth if it was. Here it is. I can't immediately see what it is. This is the area where Dan found possibly a farthing from this, what would be Charles I, 1600 and something. But it might also have been in William IV from the early 1800s. It was pretty shot, as I expect this one will be. Unfortunately. Yeah, I can't immediately see anything. I think that's going to be an undiscernible. But still nice. It's either Georgian or Victorian halfpenny, I think. But it's on the thicker side, so I'd say it's a George. But I won't be able to see until we clean it up. So, right, still up at that corner where I just found that possibly Georgian halfpenny. That was pretty shot. I've got a low number here, 9 or 10. It's catching both ways, so definitely worth a dig. Right, in the clod. Yeah, 9, 10, 11. See which part of the clod it's in, the lower or the upper half, because that's about 11 inches, that clod deep. So just divide it in half. In fact, I think I can see it. I see a button, don't you? Another of these pewter with the pimple on the back, plain button, a button nevertheless. This one's a very low number, which you won't hear. The Bluetooth is on. 6 or 7, but it's in the positives, so give it a dig. Have we here? That's quite a low number, wasn't it? It's there, I can see something. I suspect. Computer. All of these, I think, are late 1700s. Don't think there's a design on there, but might be able to see later on, of course. Right, on to the next. Right, these are Dan's bits in his hand there. He's not found a coin. I have, but it's my coin's pretty toasted. But he's found a Victorian weight, brass weight, 8 drams, which is interesting. So yeah, we'll keep going, and over there is where most of the coins were. So we'll go over there. Hopefully we'll find some of those too. But that's what Dan's found so far. It's a nice warm day, isn't it?
That's lovely, isn't it? Really nice day.
I've got the
3 hours left, 2.5 hours left. It's crap, isn't it?
I've got the 12-inch coil on, and Dan's got the 10-inch on his Vanquish over here. 10-inch is better for eking out smaller things, normally where there's a large number of things parked together, but they each have their own virtues. The 12-inch coil is obviously more nose heavy, which makes it more strenuous too, so that has to be borne in mind, although it can cover more ground more quickly. Right near to where I found, well, there seemed to be a sort of scattering of coins and bullets up here. I've got something 14, 15, not a bad signal. Picking up in both axes, which is good. Definitely done a runner. Oh, no, it's down there. It's one of the, it's a flown out jobby. Right, get my knee out of the hole, sorry. That thing. Is that it? Oh God, what is that? Ah. There's a teardrop shape. Unusual copper thing. A few years ago I got into things that are called latexes. Now latexes were applied every 3 or 5 years. Money raised everywhere in England. Kent was subdivided into things called hundreds, which was an Anglo-Saxon administrative area, but it remained the case up until about the 1700s. We have latexes that list all the individuals in a given hundred. Sometimes you'll have subdivisions of parishes and hamlets, which is useful, and it gives the names of everybody living there. Names are completely phonetic, so to follow them through you have to basically listen to the sound of the word, forget spelling because it's basically a pointless exercise. But we have latexes that run till the late 1300s. Then there's a huge gap where they didn't list individuals living in the hundred. They then basically just collected the total sums, and then in the 1500s under Henry VIII they started to list all the individuals in the hundreds again. And if I get a chance, I'll go up to London. I'll see who those individuals were living in this particular hundred, and see if I can find my ancestor. Nice signal here. 16, 17, quite promising. Beautifully warm today. Right, definitely in the clod. That's quite a pinger, quite a pingy signal. Looking forward to finding whatever this is. This is a bottle top. Out of 5 holes I've found 1 coin, 4 buttons, 6 holes, sorry, and bottle top. So it's not bad going so far today. Usually feel when the day's going to be okay, except for my SD card. Forgetting that was a bit annoying. Right, I think it's a piece of lead, unfortunately. Yeah, piece of lead. Anything discernible? It's shaped in some way. I can see it's got a ridge along the top there. You see that? Possibly got could be a weight. Can't see anything else immediately, but yeah, perhaps it was wrapped around something. Right, interesting. Don't know what to make of that. There we go, lead, piece of lead. Right, I think the sheep are getting used to us. The point I made about the Oast house in my ancestors' inventory and will, I think. Oast was derived from a word meaning uh, basically coals or fire. Possibly it's connected to the word roast, I'm not sure, but yeah, in 1601, an Oast house could also pertain to the production of malt, and he does leave so many bushels of barley malt. The other thing he leaves, interestingly, is hemp. Quite a lot of hemp, and that was grown for use in cloth or rope, and of course it's linked to something else, a narcotic these days. But in those days, it was produced for cloth, sailed cloth, and rope. So he was producing hemp, barley, oats, wheat. Um, that's what his arable consisted of. He didn't own any of this. As I say, he was a husbandman, so he presumably had a copyhold or something on the house concerned. And that Oast house there that you see, that format with the cylindrical shape, which is the most efficient that they could produce, was Victorian. So before the Victorian period, they were generally square-shaped. Some of them have square-shaped cones, but they weren't as efficient, and some of them were just square-shaped buildings with as I say, with coals on the ground floor and then your drying floor up above. That was in 1601. He mentions his Oast house. So yeah, I think this is the course of where the footpath ran. I'm not sure if it was above this lynchet or below it. If that's what it is, you can just see that field's substantially lower than this field. So I dare say it's been ploughed to such an extent that it's created a lynchet, but I could be wrong there. There's obviously a stream in actual fact. It's a natural stream running down that's been created and dug out into drainage, runs across there, and then out to what originally would have been the sea in the prior to the end of the 1200s. Right, working my way up what would be the south side of the field. See this hayfield over there? We've got a high number, 22. It's the mid numbers that are the most interesting generally. It kind of jumps. Can't hear it because I haven't got the Bluetooth switched off. 27. As I go round, it misses and hits. 24. 21. Averaging about 24. So have a listen because there's a bit of iron. It's really choppy. Right. Probably a piece of steel. Has it come out? No, it's down there. It's down there basically. Oh, there we are. That's a buckle. Not a terribly old buckle, but a buckle. Probably 20th century, maybe 19th century. Very nice signal here. I can't see Dan. I don't know where he's gone. I don't know if that phone call was to say that he's going back to the car or something. I can't see him right now, unless he's below the horizon there. Anyway, this one's a goodie. 22 max depth. Consistent both ways. Come on, be a coin, please. Gone up to 27. I ran the detector over it the second time. Probably something copper. Right. Maybe it's on the actual trowel. Yes, it is. Actually on the trowel. We're going to have... Oh, is it a coin? Oh, we've got a coin finally. Second coin of the day. Careful with it. They suggest only distilled water on coins for cleaning because this coin is fairly toasted, unfortunately. Don't know if we're able to make anything out. It's another Victorian halfpenny, perhaps. Sometimes you can just about make it out before you take it home and clean it. In a certain light, you can just see an outline, wherever it is. Can't see a lot at the moment though. So, yeah, because of the thinness, I'm reckoning on a Victorian, one of the early Victorian halfpennies, I'd say. At a guess. Discovered Dan. I think he's over there behind those sheep. Oh, there he is. Hello, mate. There's Dan over on the horizon, steadily making his way across the field. I think we'll have to try the other field soon, because this is producing simply lots of buttons and knackered coins from coppers, unfortunately. But anyway, crack on. The adage amongst metal detectorists that where there are Georgian coins, there are hammered hasn't transpired here, unfortunately. Because Dan's found a cartwheel penny, George III cartwheel penny, which we'll look at in a minute. But unfortunately, we've got to cut it short because time's pressing. He's got to miss some traffic getting home. Fortunately, I don't live too far away, but he's got quite a drive. Anyway, it's been a nice day, lovely and warm. So despite the wind, had a good day. And we've got one further field to detect, possibly on the next occasion. So thanks to the landowner for that. I think we're just going to dig one more hole each now. Right, for a quick roundup, Dan found 25 items roughly, and I found roughly about 15. So those are my finds. 2 or 3 4-hole buttons. The third one I don't know if it's a button or not, that particular one there. Hard to say. 2 coins, one's thicker and one's broader. The thicker one there could be a George III halfpenny. That might be an early Victoria, which was slightly larger than the late Victoria halfpennies. So, weights, lead weights. These, I don't know what they are. There are 2 sort of oval-shaped lead weights. That there is, I said a teardrop-shaped thing. Of course, it's the end of a spoon, isn't it? But a really tiny spoon. If anyone knows what that was used for, I'd be interested. What else have we got? A piece of machinery, a fairly plain buckle, probably late 1800s, early 19. 2 or 3 tomback buttons. There were lots of those in the field because I found them on the previous trip. Peter buttons, and that was a shotgun cartridge end, bottom right. Right, Dan's finds. Don't know what this is. I'd like to think it's pre-industrial revolution. Decoration for something, obviously. It's got screw holes, I think, or rivet holes. That's a rather nice, probably the best find actually, cartwheel penny, George III. See the size of it compared to other coins, very thick. Weighty thing. That's a weight, 8 grams I think Dan said. Victorian weight for use on the scales. 2 Victorian or Georgian buttons, another one, a smaller one. So 3 buttons total. Don't know what that is, it's not a watchfinder, it's only this here. It's a nondescript piece of copper alloy. It's got green copper oxide coming through it. I wonder if it's a Roman coin, but I don't think it'll be possible to work it out. Just would be nice if it was. That there's a toggle from someone's clothes. It's got a spring in the middle of it. It's modern, it's alloy. There's a ring there which we need to have a closer look at. And I'll post that up. There's a piece of machinery. There's the weight again and the rather nice cartwheel penny. What else we got? Odd shaped pieces of metal. We're not sure what they are. And again, there's that odd shaped piece of metal that's copper alloy, could be a Roman coin, but I don't think there'll be enough detail on there to be able to work that one out. Be nice to think so, of course. We also need to look at that ring. I think it's probably just a fairly modern bit of horse bridlery, centre right, but hopefully Dan will post a picture of that up too. Much for joining me, Dan. Don't be sheepish. Please subscribe and like. And I look forward to seeing you on the next. Bye for now.